All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's January 16th, a little bit after the US market open. I haven't done a video in the past few days because one, my thoughts are relatively the same about the market, which I'll explain in a little bit. And number two, I've been under the weather, so haven't been able to really check the markets a whole lot. Haven't really been putting on trades. So really just passively observing. But I think a couple of things I want to get right off the bat, which is, number one, I think the most exciting thing in January is probably going to be the Jupe airdrop, which again, Jupiter is an exchange on Solana, right? And they're going to have their Jupe drop on 31st of January around 10 a.m. And I think that's going to bring about some excitement, right? That's 15 days from now, as you could see. In 15 days, I think the market structure will change a lot. There's going to be a lot of, volatility and movement. But I think that event itself probably brings some, let's just say, excitement and movement into Solana specifically. I don't think it will do that for the broader crypto, because I think the broader crypto, even Solana, in my opinion, are still destined for probably a rough and volatile February and March. Even January, I mean, if you look at January, right, pretty much since the beginning of January, which is like right here, we've just been continuously grinding down, you know. That's Solana, BTC had a little bit of a spike in January. This was because of the BlackRock ETF, but again, we collapsed back down. If you actually look at the markings of where we are, um, you'll see right here that, let me see on a daily basis, okay? On a daily basis, we're actually under or just close to the monthly open or the yearly open, right? The year pretty much open right here. That's January 1st. Guess what? We're pretty close to it. We even broke back inside of it a little bit. So the reality is that if you start mapping out, where we are contextually in terms of levels for BTC, we're already inside the weekly and daily VWAP. We're already inside the yearly and quarterly and monthly VWAP right here. So the price action is actually telling you here on a local like 15-day basis or 16-day basis since the year started, price action is not as strong as it was in this uptrend. But nonetheless, I do want to point out that we are still maintaining an uptrend, okay? And that's evidenced by this, right? If we zoom back out all the way to October of last year, this uptrend has been relatively maintained, quite well. And guess what? We're once again hanging on to it by a thread. I think it's going to take a little bit to crack the uptrend, this one, meaning like it's going to take a lot of money, some kind of, bigger news event or more consolidation, maybe like this, before it ultimately nukes, lower. If it does, that is, right? Now, again, I've kind of been in the camp that even if you have this Jupiter airdrop, you have all the stuff going on in Solana, all the excitement that crypto has had the last 2 or 3 months, which is this very strong uptrend, especially from back here, which was ignited by BlackRock talking about, spot ETF, right? I don't think that means the markets are just going to be in a straight uptrend. The markets will still have their own cyclicality in regards to the broader stock market, right? This morning I posted the screenshot from C2M I found on Twitter on his feed. If you look at Grayscale, iShares, Fidelity, ARC 21 shares, these are all different spot trusts or futures trusts that have BTC or crypto underlying in their fund, right? In their ETF. And they all kind of opened down in the market this morning. Same with Coinbase, by the way, right? They've been heavily selling off pretty much since the beginning of the year. Coinbase itself has been down from 187 down to a low of 126. That's like a 30-ish% drop easily, 25, 30% drop. So the reality is that the markets have been selling off a decent amount from the beginning of the year. That sets the tone at minimum for Q1 of 2024. And there's no better place than, what I've highlighted here in November of last year, where I talked about how I saw the next few weeks panning out for BTC, how I saw the next few weeks panning out for Solana alts, which, by the way, they did kind of talk about, they did what I talked about, right? Same thing with Solana. I talked about Solana probably running up to 125, 140. It pretty much did that, right? But then after, I did expect, some sort of wider collapse back into February and March and April, right? I even spoke about this a couple of days back, where basically, we have had such a monstrous Q4 of 2023 that I did think that mean reversion back down was due. And I do think it is still due, but it doesn't mean that you're going to not have, a wider distribution area before this thing ultimately, craps out, right? And while we kind of pay attention to that, you have to start making a list of things that you're watching, projects that you're watching, trades that you can make internally if you want, right? I mean, remember, if you're waiting for the market over the next few weeks to do this and this and this and this, right? In this whole next 1 month, 2 months, there's going to be a lot of different opportunities in crypto that are going to come about. Number one, I think there's going to be outlier players. Like, here's a simple one that I mentioned to our Advantage members on our Discord, talking about TIA, right? Let me see. I was talking about TIA, as you can see, around 16 and some change. And I said, I think this is going to probably outperform over the next few days, if it starts breaking out of this triangle. And guess what? It has. It is now once again building another consolidation wedge right here, just like it did right here. And once it breaks out, once again, I think it's going to shoot up towards $22, $23. Okay. And just be careful that these things don't do something like this and then crap back down inside, because then it can have a really rapid flush back down. Okay. But all in all, the relative strength of Celestia has been much stronger in terms of performance versus the rest of the crypto market. Whether you compare it to BTC, whether you compare it to Ethereum, whether you compare it to Solana, pretty much really anything, right? So you're going to have outperformance by a few assets, select few assets here and there, and you want to be paying attention to those, because even though a market is, in my opinion, a little bit extended, like BTC is, or Ethereum is, or Solana is over the last few months, doesn't mean you're not going to get outperformance from the TIAs of the world, right? Celestia is one. I see Unibot outperforming relatively well. Remember, Unibot just actually came on Solana, right? So remember, this is the first Telegram bot that was created on Ethereum, where you could buy and sell right through Telegram, sniping your altcoins and your shitcoins. Right. So the reality is you have Unibot now on not only Ethereum, but also Solana. That's going to give it a, much higher potential market cap and evaluation, right? If the only Ethereum Telegram market cap what was at 190 or $200 million, now that it's on Solana, it might go back at minimum to the 200, maybe even slightly higher. Again, not investment advice. I'm just letting you know it's definitely a possibility. Okay. So just keep an eye on things like that, right? Celestia, Unibot. I have a whole deck screener where I, look at some meme coins, some non-meme coins. Like I've talked about STBot before, why I believe that STBot is going to be one of the premier sort of Telegram bots for Solana. But the reality is, once STBot got created, you also had FluxB, right? Remember, FluxB just had a very massive move recently. Part of it because they're partnering with Meteora. They're having, distributions with other meme coins. But the point is, there's not just one Telegram bot in town on the Solana network. There's STBot, there's FluxB, Unibot has now come up. There's another one, BonkBot, right? I don't know if that has a token, but I think it's just associated with Bonk, you know? So Bonk itself now has a different kind of utility to it, which is it's not just a meme coin, but it's rather, creating other products, which is, the Bonk bot, right? I think you can go look it up, Bonk bot, this one right here. And I'm pretty sure this is associated with the Bonk ecosystem. So many, many Telegram bots coming up. So what do you do in this situation? Well, you could, use and see which one's the best. Is it Bonk bot? Is it Unibot? Is it the ST bot that I told you about? Is it FluxB? Right? So there's many things coming up. Now, aside from that, you then have other players in the market too, like complete meme coins, which are things like WIF, right? WIF is obviously a total meme coin, really no utility, no value. It's just pure speculation, right? Shadow token is more on the DePin side. Okay, so you have different aspects of the market that are also coming up. DePin, NFT narratives. I've talked about this before. Again, a few days back, where I said I think the next 2-3 months you're going to see new narratives come about. DePin, GambleFi. Remember RLB? I've talked about RLB so many times. And just FYI, I own a position in RLB. So full disclosure, not investment advice, right? But RLB, Rollbit, is basically an exchange where you can play games, you can gamble, you can trade crypto. Obviously not for US citizens, but still available to the rest of the world, right? So GambleFi is also going to be a big thing. Then there's going to be NFTs, which I've also told y'all I'm a big fan of, right? Ovals NFT, that's one, right? This is one of the Ovals NFT I've spoken about before. Another one I like is Doodles right here. Drip House is another, which is a platform where new and upcoming artists can sell their art for, these like droplets. So basically you can thank them by dropping I don't know, this thing called like droplets, I think, or thank yous. So anyway, Drip House is another platform, right? So there's all kinds of cool stuff like, Ovals and Doodles. Doodles, by the way, is building their own game. You could actually go on their website. I think they already have one game, but they're creating the Doodle token to be incorporated with their, game, in-game economy, game economy, amongst other things. Right. So a lot of NFT platforms, thank God, are doing more than just being speculative JPEG ownership. They're, tokenizing different utility, they're fractionalizing their NFTs, they're building games, they're doing all kinds of partnerships. So that's good, right? So keep an eye on, like I said, Ovals and of course Doodles. Now the other thing is, GameFi, right? This is where I'm a little bit confused of what games are actually really going to come up. One of the games that I've been watching kind of closely is 8626, The Raid. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is also on Solana. I don't think their game is out yet, but it's pretty cool, right? Like if you actually read through their white paper, if you actually look through their Discord, which I am in, this one right here, it's quite fascinating, right? A lot of excited people. They have these things called raindrops where you basically get raindrops to participate in their community, to help out with marketing and memes and all kinds of cool stuff. So anyway, something interesting, right? Well, and real quick before I get off the GambleFi topic, which is Rollbit, right? So I talked about GambleFi as Rollbit being one of the coins. Well, SCS, Solana Casino token, is another. Okay, this is another one you want to watch because this is kind of like your DEX casino, right? DEX casinos are really not that big. You have maybe things like Crown. Crown might be another one. So let me see. I think that's also on Solana. Yeah, Crown token. I think this is like related to horse racing or something. But you have Crown, you have, SCS. You have a bunch of like really interesting stuff that's building out. So you want to be watching stuff like this because you never know who has the potential to be the next big, GambleFi coin, right? GambleFi platform. Rollbit has clearly got an edge. They're a very smooth platform. They can give people lots of leverage, very high in liquidity. I think liquidity is very tough to draw on DEXs and casinos like Solana Casino. But something to be watching, something to be paying attention to. Okay. So a lot of really interesting stuff coming up. But the reality is, right, markets do need a cooling period. Markets have been a little bit extended for a while. And I think over the next few months, you're going to see, this kind of movement and volatility. In my opinion, at minimum, we should be coming to 38 and maybe maximum somewhere around, I don't know, like 27, 25K, 30K, something like that. Excuse me. So that's my general outlook on BTC. Same thing with Solana, right? Like I've talked about Solana before. I see kind of no reason why Solana shouldn't come back to 40 to 50 bucks. I know that sounds like a crazy, ludicrous number right now, but guess what? We're already from the highs off 24%, right? And the market right now is still very, in my opinion, aggressively bullish. Sentiment is still really high. I think that sentiment needs to get cooled off a little bit. I think it needs to get crushed, in my opinion. And I think one of the ways that can happen is, you continuously bleed out over the next couple of months, land in here sometime in March or April, build out a base, and then get cracking in August, September, October, November into 2025 and maybe hit $400 to $500 for a SOL by the end of the year. I think 400 is definitely possible for Solana, but I don't think it's going to just be like this, like this. I don't think so. Okay. But we'll see, right? So I talked about different projects, other ones, I think on DePin side, things like Honey, right? Honey is another one. Let me see. Sana is another one in the DePin ecosystem. Again, if you're not familiar with DePin, please do your research. Okay. So that's pretty much all I have. Lots of really cool stuff to look at. My overall thoughts on the market. Let me see here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If y'all have any questions, come join our Discord. I provide, more up-to-date day-to-day analysis for our members. Good luck to y'all. Do your research. Maybe take a breather for the rest of January and February. And we'll see how the market goes, okay? All right, good luck, everybody. Cheers.